Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
You're listening to Transcending Sport on Wisp Sports. I'm Chris Stafford, and at Wisp Sports, we believe women in sport deserve equal coverage. Transcending Sport is a show in which we feature individuals and organisations who are supporting women in sport everywhere in their efforts to promote and encourage participation in sport. On the show, we also discuss topics that affect women and girls participating in sport. My guest today is Kayla Nolan, Executive Director of Girls Gotta Run Foundation, a 501c3 non-profit organisation that invests in girls who use running and education to empower themselves and their communities. Its purpose is to create a brighter future for Ethiopian women by empowering women to overcome poverty and disadvantages. By being engaged with thought leaders in the field of international sport, Girls Gotta Run envisions a world that empowers and invests in the exceptional initiatives of young women who are working to establish their place in the world as competitive runners and leaders in their communities, and who are finding strength, courage, and power in their pursuit of excellence, as well as achieving their fullest potential in running and in society. Girls Gotta Run was inspired by Dr. Patricia E. Ortman, a retired women's studies professor and lifelong feminist, and was established in 2006 with the mission of providing support for impoverished Ethiopian girls who are training to be professional runners. And since then, Girls Gotta Run Foundation has provided tools and resources for over 210 women and girls, funded the establishment of 7 running teams, and developed a community of partners working to support female runners in Ethiopia. I talked to Kayla about their work and plans for the future. Kayla, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, we've spoken off-air before now, and I've got a little bit of background to your organization, but let's start with that, with, where it all began for Girls Gotta Run, because you've grown quite considerably, haven't you? And now, it's quite a dynamic organization. It's wonderful to see, but let's tell the story of where it all began and how you got involved.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Girls Gotta Run Foundation has been around since 2007. We invest in girls and women who use running and education to empower themselves and their communities in Ethiopia. And so we really began in 2007. Dr. Patricia Ortman is the founder of Girls Gotta Run Foundation. She was reading an article in the Washington Post about girls who were in Ethiopia, and they were, getting involved in running, which is a huge national legacy in the country, and really looking to running to provide greater opportunities for education, job opportunities and coaching and professional athletics. And we're turning to the sport to really reach their goals, both personally and professionally, but they lacked a lot of the resources that they needed to achieve those goals. And Patricia Ortman, who's a retired women's studies professor, thought that, we could just send the resources that they might need, that they were expressing needs for shoes and running gear. And she thought, here are these tenacious girls, and it's a rare opportunity to be able to support girls who are so goal-oriented. And so why don't we just, send them the gear that they need as kind of some support and inspiration to continue in achieving their goals. So that's really how it started, with that humble mission of just providing, reaching those small needs of the girls. And it grew from there, really working alongside the girls and their families and the communities to adapt the program to a more holistic set of needs that the girls have based on the challenges they're facing. So not just in athletics, but also in education, at the home, in their economic environment, And so we adapted our program really around the athletic scholarship program model that we use now, which is a holistic program model with 4 main components, working with adolescent girls around the age that they're most vulnerable to enter into early marriage, which in Bakoji, which is a program location we work in, the average age of marriage is 14 there. So we work with girls a little bit before and after that age to help girls overcome early marriage and access education. The UN identified early marriage as the #1 reason that girls drop out of school in Ethiopia. So it's a really big challenge that girls are facing as they continue to move into sport and into education. So we provide a full scholarship for girls to go to school. We do an athletics team to provide safe spaces for girls and an opportunity to be involved in sport. We do life skills lessons around, family planning, leadership, creativity. And then finally, we do a savings group for the mothers in the program where we do entrepreneurial training, and then the mothers every week save their money collectively and are able to invest that as loans and grants to help them increase their financial resiliency. So it's really built into a full program so that, the running that the girls were looking towards to achieve their goals continues to be a gateway towards greater opportunity instead of, reaching some of the barriers like being injured, not being able to enter professional sport. They still continue onward with a full education and the skills they need to succeed. So that's really how the program's adapted over time. And, I became involved through research in 2009. I was researching the empowerment of women through running in Ethiopia and got in touch with Girls Gotta Run, which is the only foundation working with girls and women around running and education in Ethiopia. So it was a great opportunity to conduct research alongside them. And then came on board, I want to say in 2011, 2012, to help build the organization from an all volunteer group to one that can support greater impact in Ethiopia through staffing, program scaling, and greater development. So that's really how I've been involved with Girl Scout Run since then.
Now, your nonprofit organization, as I said, so give us a sense of the kind of funds that you're raising, where you're raising those funds, and the kind of budget that you have to spend in Ethiopia for these girls.
Right. So we're a small grassroots organization. So we really rely on individual donations, grants from foundations, partnerships that we've worked with different companies. Like we work with the coffee sector in Ethiopia, which is also coffee and running are huge points of national identity there. And so we're really proud to work with the coffee industry, where coffee is quite prevalent in the regions that we work in. We also work with different businesses in sport to support our foundation. Like we've worked with Jaybird Sport and different organizations that support our work on the individual and organizational level. And we work in 2 program locations in Ethiopia, supporting and investing in 215 girls and women. And we operate on a budget of $150,000 a year. So we're still quite a small organization, and the majority of our funds go directly to program. And so it's really been an amazing opportunity to be able to invite people to invest directly in the community to uplift and empower girls and women using this unique tool around running, which is such a cultural force, and really open more doors around education and safe spaces and opportunity for girls.
Well, we often see how Ethiopian and African girls generally, African athletes per se, are particularly they're particularly good at running. I would say typically the marathon distance, the endurance racing. They're natural athletes. So I'm wondering if these girls do go on to compete and what opportunities there are for competitive running for them.
Yeah, I mean, Ethiopia is such a powerhouse globally around athletics, which has really opened doors, I think, both culturally, but also in terms of economic opportunity for women to participate in a sport that has such a strong identity internationally. So it's really a place where Ethiopia has been able to step into the global conversation around sport, but then and contribute something. That's globally recognized, but then also for Ethiopian women to step up equally into that space. So it's really an environment where women compete alongside men to bring pride and you know uh, competitiveness back to their country. And so I think it's had a huge diplomatic role internationally. I think you know more than uh, more than other sports might have had in Ethiopia. So it's an amazing piece of the cultural identity. But I also feel that it's been pushed a lot by the government within Ethiopia. So there's a lot of government support for investing in future talent around running, throughout the country, and really looking for who's going to be the next leader to bring that back to Ethiopia. So for girls and women, the government has a high interest in bringing girls into the sport. And so through Girls Gotta Run, we work on a more participatory sport level. So girls who are interested in just participating in running or who are interested in competitive sport can be involved in our program. And, we work in Bikoji, which is a world-renowned hub for Olympic talent, and where most of the Olympians have come from in Ethiopia. And so that town has leans more towards competitive sport, and the girls are, highly talented, but are also interested in a range of goals and moving into sport professionally. Or, we have girls that want to be teachers or engineers or doctors. And so, they want to work at nurses and family planning, and they have a lot of different goals that they aspire to. And our other program location in Walaita Sodo, the sport is more participatory. A few of the girls would like to be competitive runners, but a lot of them are just really excited to be able to get outside of their house and have a team of peers that they can be part of and really be involved in the joy of that sport. So I think, within our program, we're really interested to the multitude of benefits of girls participating in running, but there are many opportunities for girls to become competitive athletes. And we've had several of the girls become competitive professional runners in Ethiopia, and a few have moved into more international races. But our program is primarily based on really encouraging girls to use sport to reach the goals that they see fit for themselves.
And have you seen a cultural shift, a social change amongst the girls that you've helped that have steered them away from early marriage? When you talk about the kind of age that they age group that is steered into early marriage. I mean, that's such a critical age for girls to develop in sport, isn't it? And to retain them. I know from here in the US, middle school is that critical age group, isn't it? To trying to keep girls engaged in sport. Have you seen that shift from the girls that you've helped out there?
Yeah, I mean, wow, yeah, adolescence is a huge time of change across the board. And I think that, in Ethiopia, around early marriage and how that comes into play in the lives of adolescent girls is really around isolation. And so a lot of girls who are entering into early marriage are pulled out of school because they're brought into the home, which is where, culturally their place is viewed to be is at home, taking care of their family, and not socializing with their peers or with other people within the community. And so it's really a time where, girls have maybe been going to school or have been participating in their community. And upon marriage, they're viewed really, that's their main role as being this wife or caregiver. And that's largely isolated to their home environment. So it's really viewing this not only being pulled out of school, but being pulled out of those peer networks, which are so important to being able to access information on economic opportunities, family planning opportunities, where to get medical advice, where to get financial support, where to talk to someone about healthy relationships. And so you start to lose many of these pieces of the puzzle that are so important to having healthy future. So I think that, the main issues that we're really addressing with sport is not only engaging women and girls in a sport that's viewed with so much pride in the country, and the girls' participation in that sport really is viewed with pride. But it also, pragmatically provides a lot of networks for the girls to be able to participate in, and to be able to make these peer network connections so that they can reach out to people for the help that they might need, even when negotiating their own time of marriage. So they're really like looking at these issues at such a young age. It's really important to connect them with people that can help them, and the tools and information that they would need to go about that. But I do feel that, nationally, running has really opened this space for women to be able to participate competitively with men, and to be able to earn, large award sums for financial gains. And you see these role models that have come out, like the, Meseret Jafar, Turnish Dababa, that women can look up to, and they see them succeeding at the national and international level. And I think that those role models are so important, and a lot of the reason that girls and women enter the sport to begin with. So I do think that the sport has influenced the culture around gender equity, particularly within that space. I do think there's a lot of change that continues to need to happen around that, but it's inspiring to see the girls and women really being the change makers in their own life, and using sport in the many ways that it can be used to empower themselves personally, or even to reach success economically by being a professional athlete. So really opening doors for a lot of girls and women.
Well, this program clearly is empowering them in many ways and teaching them very basic life skills as well. How many girls have you reached in the life of Girls Gotta Run so far?
We've worked with a little over 300 girls and women. And so we've, before our program model shifted about 4 years ago, we were working with girls for a longer period of time. So for much of their life into college. And now we've shifted more into a younger program model, where we work with girls at a younger age in adolescence and help them move into college as well. So we've had a longer investment in the girls that we work with, but we've been really privileged to be able to work with so many girls and women in several communities throughout Ethiopia.
Talk about those communities then. Where exactly, Kayla, are they in the country?
So currently we work in 2 program locations. We work in Bokoji, Ethiopia, which is world renowned as a location where, Ethiopia has produced a ton of Olympic athletes coming from that area. And it's a really unique small town, roughly 30,000 people live in Bokoji. They just got their first paved road going through the town a few years ago, and it's largely a farming agricultural town, but it's produced more Olympic champions than all of India has produced. And so it's a fascinating microcosm for Olympic talent, but also for the culture of running. So you can really see how the national legacy of running has impacted the local life at a very personal and community level in Bokoji. It's really shaped what that community looks like there. And I think, largely that's because we have amazing community organizers in Bokoji that have dedicated their time to coaching and inspiring and investing in the running legacy there. And so they show up every day to support that. And that's made a huge difference, in addition to having the opportunity to train at altitude, having this agricultural lifestyle where they're working outdoors and training. And it's just amazing conditions for being able to work together as a team. But, hundreds of people come together at practice every day to train in the hopes of becoming the next, Olympic champion, like Kenenisa Bekele or Turnshtababa, who came from that area. So that's one area that we work in, which is largely around running, the running culture. And then we also work in Walaita Sodo at a wonderful all-girls school, which provides a great opportunity to really hone in and focus on opportunities for girls and creating an all-female environment for girls to have that safe space. And Walaita Sodo is the most population dense area in Ethiopia. And so a lot of the challenges that we work with in Sodo are around family planning and being able to have, girls have the opportunity to choose how many kids they're going to have, being able to plan that for their future and provide access to higher education opportunities. Whereas in Bukoji, we work a lot around early marriage, as early marriage is a large issue there, with the average age being 14, which is below the national average in Ethiopia. So they have their own unique challenges and opportunities, and we're really fortunate to be able to work with all the community actors. We work with the government, Women and Children's Office, Athletics Federation, the local government as well as private schools and local schools. So we really work alongside the community to identify challenges and continue to adapt our program to make it as effective as possible.
So how would we find out more about those programs then, if anyone wants to get involved? I know that you do have ambassadors as well, don't you? So talk a little bit about engagement and how people can get involved.
That's great. I mean, we love involving people in the organization. I mean, I think it's challenging for many people to be able to go out to Ethiopia, which we support and encourage, people being able to visit the programs and meeting the families and the girls and, being involved locally. But, we're excited about opportunities to be able to bring those stories and that impact to everyone who's interested in being involved in supporting. And you can definitely find out more information about Girls Gotta Run on our website, girlsgottarun.org. You can also get involved as an athletic scholarship sponsor for $600 a year. You can support a girl and her mom in our program, and it supports the full athletic scholarship program. So we've got the academics, the life skills, athletics, and the savings group. So it provides everything for them. And then we've also got ways to volunteer. So we do campaigns every year around International Women's Day in March. We're doing a pop-up 5K run where you can run anywhere and support Girls Gotta Run. You can find that on our Instagram at Girls Gotta Run, as well as our Facebook. And we've also done a lot of awareness campaigns around International Day of the Girl in October. For the past few years, we've done an awareness campaign where individuals can go for a run in their community and donate money to Girls Gotta Run Foundation, which will be directed back to girls. And it's a wonderful way for anyone to be able to support girls and empower them on the International Day of the Girl by investing directly into their future. So we really like to provide, opportunities for anyone to be able to invest in girls and be connected to that cause. And that's something that we're excited about as a grassroots organization, is being able to be close, to provide a close connection like that.
And of course, they can do something as simple as contribute to buying a pair of running shoes.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have a lot of different donation opportunities where, some people are interested in supporting, athletic gear or more athletic goals, and other people are really excited about educational opportunities or economic opportunities and entrepreneurship. So I think that, because this program is a holistic investment in the girls' future, I think there's a wonderful way for many people to be involved. And we're really excited to connect with people. So please, don't hesitate to reach out, contact us through our website, and, go there for more information on different ways to get involved in your community or even in Ethiopia.
Well, that's fantastic, Kayla. And in terms of the times that you visit over there, how often do you have to go, and what's your role when you go there?
That's a great question. It's actually it's evolved quite a bit. So I was living in Ethiopia for 4 years, working on our program and working directly with our communities that we're involved with, and our wonderful staff who just work so hard around these programs. So originally, I was, living there full time. But this past year and a half, I moved back to the States to work on, really building support and community to be able to empower our staff and the girls that we work with in Ethiopia. So it's focused more on fundraising and community awareness. And like we were talking about before, really engaging volunteers and people who are excited about getting involved in the organization, being able to connect them. So I go back maybe 2 to 3 times a year for about 4 to 6 weeks each time. So still visiting frequently, spending about 2 to 3 months in Ethiopia at a minimum. So it's great to be able to, kind of spend time in both places. I'm still adjusting to that lifestyle, and I kind of miss living in Ethiopia at times, but it's a really wonderful change and opportunity to be able to go back and visit, spend some quality time working in the programs, which I feel is really important for the organization.
Well, you're clearly doing a fabulous job, Kayla, a wonderful organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And as you said, anyone can find out more about it by going to the website, girlsgottarun.org, and also following you on social media too. So what next for you? When do you head back?
I'm headed back in May. So we'll be doing some program visits, and we're potentially looking into launching a 3rd program location, which would be fantastic maybe in the next year and a half. So I'll be investigating that and just really seeing how, this semester is going and what kind of changes we can make. I was in Ethiopia in January. So yeah, just kind of checking in and seeing how the programs are going in person, and really just spending time with the girls. So looking forward to that.
Fabulous. Well, it is super. It is a super organization, and it's great work. Obviously, it empowers these young girls and gives them life skills as well as the opportunity to participate in sport. So well done to you, and good luck with the organization, and long may you continue to help young girls get into sport.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the podcast. We're really honored to share the story of Girl Scout Run. Thank you for that opportunity.
Well, you bet, and thank you for taking the time to come on the show. Thank you, Kayla.
Of course. Thank you.
Conversations from the world of women's sports. This is Wisp Sports Radio.
And you can find links to Girls Gotta Run social media and their website on our website at wispsports.com in the show notes accompanying this episode. Just look for Transcending Sports at wispsports.com. And you can join in our conversations about women's sport at any time by following us on social media at Wisp Sports. And you can also drop us a line to info@wispsports.com if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions involving women and girls in sport anywhere. And you can, of course, find Wisp Sports wherever you listen to podcasts. Wisp Sports is the world's largest podcast network for women's sports and coverage of all sports. So you'll find something for everyone on our website, on our podcasts, on our videos and articles and blogs at wispsports.com. Until the next time, thank you for listening and supporting women in sport everywhere.